Welcome back. In this particular tutorial video, we will see how to create a data from scratch, then how to convert them into a table, and then how to create a pivot table in a drag and drop manner, plus adding a keyboard shortcut to it. And I'll show you one of the two different keyboard shortcuts and how its name will look in a table list. Let me add a new sheet for us, and then I'm going to create a new data here. Normally, I'll just start with data, and see, I'm keeping the data as simple as possible, and I'm going to add a data right now. So I'm going to just say 1122, and then I'm adding 15 days for this until June, and then I'm adding some dummy values here, and I'm adding dummy values here, and to make the data look a little realistic, so I'm just changing number. So now I got a table here, and our golden rules of pivot table will work very effectively here. But I told you earlier, when we are building a golden rules or when we are trying to build a pivot table, I need to follow certain basic rules, and sometimes my data will not be proper. So if this data given to you, then creating a pivot table is going to be very easy for you because it's a proper data set and it has two headers and it has all the data filled here. There is no blank cell, row, or a column here. And all the data are available in a clean manner, so that allows me to create a pivot table. What if I have a data like this and I don't have a situation? I have a situation where I cannot run a pivot table with this data. If you want to run a pivot table on this data, it's going to give you a very bad answer. So here we have to take a call on certain list situations. So for example, I need to maintain the 15-day cycle everywhere here, and I want to maintain all my data, even if though it is blank cell, then I can do that. So I'm going to add a list here. I can add a 0 here, nothing wrong in it, because in a date there may be zeros here. That's quite an obvious logic that we can do it. How do I build that in here is I'll select the range here, go to the find and select option, and go to the special option, select the blank cells alone and give an OK. Then all the blank cells will be selected in the list, and I'm going to give a 0, give a control enter. That populates 0 for all the selections. Now I have a real twist here. So here I cannot do that. I cannot add a 0 here. If I add a 0, I will be getting a weird date column. I cannot do that. So if this situation comes into play, then I have to literally tear my sales representative apart, because if you can give the value of the sale, why can't he give the deals? I will, if I have control over him on a different occasion, then I can just literally tell them I will not show the sales at all. As so that you made a sales, I'll consider that as a invoice, or I'll consider that as a money received, but I will not show that in your name so that you won't get a commission for it. So there is a situation where we have to get the document properly so that I can say that this is the right date that has happened. Until then, I need to add some dummy data here. I can do that also. Again, I'm going to do the same logic. You can select the whole column here. Come back to the find and select, and then go back to the go to special and select the blank cells and give an OK. This time I'm not going to use 0. I'm going to say equals and select the previous cell date and give a control enter. That's going to populate all my data right now. So now I can get the report that I want. But again, my data are compromised here. I know that. But I have to build a data sometime on this point by cleaning the data. This is what we do normally in a larger Excel. We call this as ETL in data analytical language. That is called extract, transform, and let me pick my data that I built earlier. I showed you how I built this. And just keep the control C until I get my old data back to normality. I built a normal data here, and after the data is clear in every point possible. Now I would like to create a pivot table. So I'm going to create a pivot table using the older style and using the new style. So I'm going to create a pivot table in here. So I'm going to put it in IE here. So let me place the person, color them up, and place the person, the date. I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut. The first keyboard shortcut that I'm going to use right now is called Alt T. is the old version of my Excel. So I'm going to say Alt DP, then the cursor will on screen will be a little differently. So here I can create a pivot table, and as well as chart on this list, you can see whatever I saw in the drop down in my pivot table. Okay. In the insert tab, I showed you a data range, but again, here I have a specialty that I have a consolidated range, a multi-consolidation range. I saw external data there, I saw data model there, I saw, you can see that the Microsoft list database comes into play, can create everything. So I'm going to use the list here, and I'm going to click next, and I'll ask you, and you can see that it automatically set the range correctly. The data is not going wrong anywhere. I give a next. I'll ask you where you want to create. I'm going to create the new existing sheet that go on IT. And when I say finish, it will automatically add a list here, and you can see that it has the coming here. I get the pivot cache, I get my pivot table fields, pivot table analysis. And when I'm working on Excel or when I work on pivot table, you can see that I'm using a date functionality the first time. When I click the date functionality, if you're using 2013 version and above, when I click it, it automatically group the data. You can see that the grouping is happening, and you can see that month is coming below, the date is coming up. Normally, it won't appear like this if you're using 2013 version below for people to see a data like this. The formatting is automatically coming up here. That's okay for me. And if I want to get the month here, what I would normally do is in the older version below 2013, I give a right click in my data or the date field, and I go to group. Then in the grouping, I will add this. Normally, this will appear only on the month here, or it will appear only on the days here. So that's how it should be. This is how the data will look like. So you won't see a month. Now the grouping has automatically happened in 2013 version and above. So I can see that the grouping is happening, or else your data will look like this. I'll be adding the month here. That shows you that. If my agenda is not to create a daily and a monthly series, I want only a monthly series, then after adding the date and once I get the months list here, I check the date out of the equation. Then I give a tick mark. This I can do in a different dimension altogether. So I can just drag the months to the row and drag the months to the same. So again, on the first instance, if you want to get the month, you have no other go other than to just check the dates first. You can drag and drop a date here, and you can see that it only gives you a date here because I ungrouped the data completely. So when I have the grouping component comes in, it works for you. So let me just redo this process again. Let me tell you this list. I'm going to again color the range, place the cursor here. Then I'll say Alt DP, and then next, and next, workbook. And I'm going to choose this option here. And I'm going to finish. And check the box automatically. Now it swaps back again to the grouping part. Or what I can do is sorry, I'm doing it yes. Now I can build them up. And then I can drag and drop the dates to a row. Now you can see automatically it adds the months. But until I drag and drop the data to the row, you won't see a month. Then I can drag the date out of the equation. And then I can just either check mark or I can add a sales. Now I got all the formatting running really well. If I want to add multiple dimensions to my data, I can do that by giving a click in the date field, group it, all the date dimension that possible. Here, quarter, month, and day. I can see all of them are coming up here. Now we can put whatever we want. I want to put the year on top because I have only one year here. I want to put the quarter on the columns. And I can even put the months below the quarter. So that way we can play the data better here. So you can see each and every date. Or I can put the month above the dates here. And I can collapse and I can expand it. So I'm going to just say collapse it so that I can see only the monthly sales on which quarter that's going to follow. So now I built a pivot table literally on a range. For example, if I try to add some more dates below, set of dates here. So let me complete this until this year end. So I'm going to add some values here. And now if I refresh this sheet or refresh this pivot table, nothing will happen. This is where I have to use pivot table analysis field and I have to change the data source here so that I can change the data source from 1st January to 30th of June to 1st January to until the last date that I have data. Now you can see the data are coming only partially here, and I have to choose all of them and then give it okay. So now we can get all the list here. Again, I need to collapse the data here. But if I don't have this data, I'm going to convert this data into a table. How do I do it? So let the data be here. When I give a refresh, it will automatically go off. You can see that data are really changed here up to bottom. Then I have to reiterate this grouping again. Then you can see some blank cells are coming on top. So I can just forget. These are the general issues that we will generally get in analyst because I have a range which is coming on the blanks there. See, I have a lot of blanks here. Because of that, I'm getting this blanks and use a date automatically. When I curtail this to a lesser list, then my data will not have the issue. The data are really nicely. So whenever we do create a pivot table, sometimes we see this sort of error comes out because we choose a range beyond our data capacity. Because of that, we get this list. So now I'm going to just start the grouping again and make them work better. Submit the data. Now I got a data based on a normal range. But if this range becomes a table, what happens? So now I'm going to build another sheet right now. I'm going to copy this data, add a new sheet and paste them somewhere over here. Because I want to keep that separately. Then I want to create a table here. Table also comes in the same insert tab. I'm going to give a click mark on the table. That's it, the whole table. I'm going to give an OK. It automatically colors the. And you can also rename the table if you want to. I'm going to call this as table format. Table form. And now I built a pivot table. So now I'm going to just come back to insert pivot table. And you can see automatically it gives you the name of the table here. And I'm going to put them in the same sheet again in the ID. And the same logic will come again. Now I want to remove this row label. Come back to design. Layout, show it tabular form. And I can add currencies to it by adding a value field setting. And then I can go back to the number format. And then I can add the accounting. And I don't see any decimals as such. So I will just add decimals. Now the plus point when I do deal with a table feature. What I can do is I can just scroll down a little bit down. Then I'm going to say equals up. Just give a control enter. That's going to populate the whole year. So I'm going to just remove this line item. Then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to add some values like I did earlier. Then make them look a little more realistic. Now, I don't want to change the data by going to the data part and go to the pivot table analysis and change the data. Instead, I can just give a right click here and refresh the pivot table. This will update my data automatically until. That is the advantage when I add a data in a normal range, which doesn't allow me to add it automatically. I have to go back to the pivot table analysis and change the source of data. Here's the data. Here, I really don't want to. So I can create a pivot table using a table. So here I use a table for pivot, and then I use a range for pivot. This is how we create a pivot table by imaginary data that I built right now. And see the data. That's what I use to do that. So I created a drag and drop field. built a list here. I create a table format on the there. Now, next video, I'll show you how to create a pivot styling here, and then how the pivot actually stores here. How we can change the data source. That's what we saw in our list. I just keep it a little earlier now. How we can change the formula. How we can add refresh the data. So even refreshing a little bit is shown here. Show you how all the other refresh works for us. How to create a copy of a pivot table and other components. The next video is going to be a little bigger than normal. We're going to see a lot more dimensions. So this is Vinod signing out. Stay updated. Happy learning.